This can be a quick video about some of the things you can buy for prepping at your local grocery store. So the first thing I come in here and I see what I can buy that I can dehydrate. Now pretty much anything in here you can dehydrate. But it's about what you want to dehydrate and what you got room for. Pretty much dehydrate anything in here. The blueberries, all kinds of berries, grapes, you name it. Tomatoes are excellent. I like dehydrating apples. What I do is I sprinkle cinnamon on them. And they taste awesome after they're dehydrated. Love cinnamon. Mushrooms are also excellent for dehydration. All your herbs. Carrots are good. Celery, believe it or not, celery, carrots, peppers, all good for dehydration. Dehydrate them and then you put them in seal-a-mill bags or ball jars with pressure on them. Or I should say a vacuum. Nuts are alright, but I wouldn't recommend them for long-term storage as they go rancid. If you're going to do it, put them in tight seal-a-meal bags with no oxygen. But I wouldn't store them for too long. Onions are another excellent thing to dehydrate. Onions, as well as garlic. I have lots of them. I would avoid storing boxed items that could go rancid, such as the Velveeta cheese and whatnot. But your rice-a-roni, which just consists of the rice and spice packets, they might work. You might need to pull out your spice pack and maybe put it in a seal-a-meal bag also. You know, vacuum it and whatnot. Little envelopes. Again, it wouldn't hurt to put these envelopes, types of meals, in seal-a-meal bags. Just put about 5 or 6 of them in a seal-a-meal bag and vacuum it up. Should be good to go. All your rice-a-ronis and whatnot. I got a ton of pasta in paint jugs, in the big 5-gallon jugs. Excellent to definitely store. Good source of carbohydrates. Soups are good. Just be wary of the expiration dates on all your canned items, and only store, or I should say, put into storage what you would normally eat, and rotate it out. I have no issues storing tomato sauces and whatnot. None at all. But I would stay away for long-term storage of the creamy types of sauces. Obviously vegetables, lots of vegetables. Now I'm at the local grocery store. Normally I wouldn't really even purchase anything here for long-term storage. I would go to Costco or Sam's Club because you can get more volume. But while you're at the grocery store, that's what I'm trying to achieve, is to give you some ideas on what to get. Stuff like that pudding, that's a no-go. That's a no-go. Cookies, boxed items, be wary of what is in the, for example, you might have a Hershey syrup packet, that might go bad. But something like a sugar cookie, that might be good. So just be careful what you buy. Pickled items, they store a long time, believe it or not. They're already pickled. Love me some pickles, and I love those. Actually, these pepperoncinis, I love them. These two right there. Yes on the flour, yes. You get those 5-gallon buckets from Home Depot, and you just empty them all into it. And then you can basically just seal them up in like a little garbage can inside. So what I'll do is I'll put a garbage can inside, and I'll buy a bunch of flour, and I'll empty these all into the garbage bag that's inside the paint bucket until it's full. And then I'll get one of those screw-on lids for the paint bucket. They work really nice. Vinegar, yes, for cleaning as well. You can do a lot of things with vinegar, as well as clean. Excellent. Coffees, yes, absolutely. I got about 20 of these Cafe Bustelos, both the large and small size. They're pressurized, or I should say vacuum, and they'll stay forever. So definitely yes on the coffee, folks. As far as meats, don't we all wish we can just long-term storage them? But I got some better ideas. Obviously, you can make jerky out of them and whatnot, but even jerky won't do good for long-term. If you get really hard up for protein, what you do is you store protein powder. Believe it or not, if you get hard up for protein, start storing some protein powders and whatnot. These juices are a no-go for long-term storage, unfortunately. Now, maybe short-term storage, you would have to keep rotating them out and whatnot, but basically anyway, these are just sugar waters anyhow. I love V8, but it's a no-go on the long-term storage. Maybe short-term, but you got to keep circulating it out, meaning use it up. Canned fruits are yes, but you got to really watch them. Watch those expiration dates, and make sure you circulate them out, and keep using them. Don't let them sit too long beyond the expiration date. Jellies, I'd say make your own. Put them in ball jars, make sure they're vacuumed. These container fruits, they're absolutely no-go. No-go. These processed maple syrups are not even maple syrups, they're just pancake syrup. They're a no-go for long-term food storage. When I say no-go, that's what I mean, long-term food storage. However, if you get real maple syrup will last, I'm pretty certain, forever. You might have to reheat it up, as well as honey. Honey will last pretty much forever. Obviously, water, as much as you can store. Now, with your water, it's okay to, let's say you buy one of these. Let's just hypothetically say you buy one of these. It's okay to put a drop or two of Clorox bleach in each gallon, just a drop or two. A lot of it, if you're going to try to do freezer burn, so be very careful. Obviously, frozen foods is a no-go for long-term food storage. Perhaps if you have a freezer, but then again, a lot of it just gets freezer burnt, so be very careful. Now, obviously, vitamins, aspirins, that sort of thing, that's a yes. And to extend the life of some of this stuff, you empty it all into a seal-a-meal bag and vacuum seal it up. She should last forever, or as close to forever. Obviously, some of the oil type of capsules might not fare so well. You know, those capsules that have oilish, oil inside, or the vitamin or whatever. Vitamin E is a good example. Might not last too long because it's a liquid inside that capsule. However, again, you could extend the life of it by putting it in seal-a-meal bags, vacuuming it up. Obviously, I love my protein bars, and I see no problem storing these. The Cliff bars, the Luna bars, I see no problem in it. Keep them inside the original packet. Throw a bunch of them in a seal-a-meal bag, vacuum it up. They should last pretty much forever, or as long as you actually need them. You hear me mentioning a lot about seal-a-meal bags. They are awesome. Get yourself a seal-a-meal machine. I'm Definitely a proponent of these bars. Obviously, if something has too much nuts in it, I'm going to be a little bit nervous about it going rancid. But if they stay in here and then they're in cereal meal bags, you might fare pretty good. I'd stick with the Cliff Bars and the Lunas. Now for shit hits the fan scenario, I recommend getting a bunch of Pepto-Bismol and Tums. Why? Because you're going to be eating stuff perhaps that might be a little bit too old. It might have gone, into the expiration date. But hey, better have a full belly than no belly. So get Pepto-Bismol, Tums, and keep those on hand for your long-term storage. Especially Tums, because obviously it's a dry pill. It doesn't go bad like a liquid like Pepto-Bismol. You might be eating some stuff that you're not used to during a shit hit the fan situation. Just to keep your belly full. Obviously, don't have to talk too much about, cold medicines, aspirins. I've already mentioned that earlier. Chapstick is another important thing to have on hand. Chapstick type of things. Obviously, if you're got somebody who is allergic to anything, Benadryls and whatnot. So I would definitely consider getting yourself a first aid kit, building yourself one or buying one. Get some alcohol in there as well. Isopro alcohol. Some hydrogen peroxide. And build your own kit of what you think you might need. Petroleum jelly in there as well.
Check out our new California Grown Moondrop seedless leg.
Mentioned something that'd be nice to be able to long-term food storage meats and whatnot. And I guess you could to a certain extent, but also consider getting the protein powders for when you run out of meats and whatnot. One scoop of protein powder is approximately 25 grams of protein. I would not get protein powder from a grocery store. I would definitely try to get it maybe from Costco. You can get those big bags of Optimum Nutrition for like $40. These are rip-offs because of the price versus quantity. But definitely consider storing up on some protein powders. Definitely don't forget about the pets. I got a speaker blaring above me with some ridiculous music, but don't forget about your pets. What you could do is get one of those big 5-gallon paint buckets. You could dump a couple of bags into the paint bucket and put a lid on it, and should be good to go. Don't forget your cats, and as well, although I don't like cats. But I do love animals in general. I wouldn't own a cat, but get them some treats too. These things will keep forever. Women, should I say any more? You know what you need. Stack a lot of it. And let's not forget about your family's personal hygiene. All the stuff that you can do long-term storage on. You need it all. Believe it or not, I'm a big proponent of having charcoal lighter on hand. Use it to start fires with wood that's fallen down from trees and whatnot. If you can get a few of these, go for it. Bleach is a very underrated prep. Definitely get a couple of these. Obviously, you can use them to clean, you can use them to sterilize water to a certain extent, but definitely think about getting the bleach as well as tons of laundry detergent. I actually use this Arm & Hammer stuff. It works pretty good. And yes, on the sponges. Those blue ones actually perform and last longer than the green ones. So definitely get the blue ones. Like these disinfective wipes. However, for long-term storage, I question whether they'll stay moist inside. But if you have a way of seal in the moisture, maybe some packing tape on the top, you put some packing tape securely over this to where it's basically airtight, you might fare very well. But I'm a big proponent of those disinfectants. Well, I can't say you can store any of this stuff. That would be a no-go. But however, on some of the websites, survival websites, you can buy ghee, G-H-E-E, which is just clarified butter. From what I understand, it'll last pretty much forever. That's a no-go on this stuff, that's for certain. This is what your cat will look like if you forget to prep for your cat. There are videos on YouTube that show you how to dehydrate. Yes, dehydrate your eggs. You'd scramble them up, throw them in a dehydrator. They would dehydrate, and then you would just break them apart and throw them in a blender to turn them into powder. Then you would basically can, or I should say, put the powder in some type of apparatus. So you have basically powdered eggs. So look up those videos on how to dehydrate eggs. Many people would think beef jerky would be a good long-term. Remember, this video is about long-term, not short-term. This would not work. These would all go rancid unless you can put them into seal meal bags, seal them up as tight as possible, and then maybe throw them into a freezer. Once the freezer dies, or I should say the electricity is cut off, then that would help extend the life of them in the seal meal bags. But these are not what I would consider seal a meal type bags. First of all, they're not vacuumed. They got a lot of air in it, and air is the factor that kills and makes things go bad, is air. So maybe the seal meal bags, the vacuuming of them will extend the life considerably. But the way these are stored now, absolutely not. It's got so much air in it. Look at that. It's got so much air in it. That's a joke. They're designed to fail from the get-go, these things, for long-term storage. Some booze, yes. Now, I'm not a drinker myself, but there are cases, or I should say there's situations where you might be able to utilize this stuff for trading with other people for things that they want. Obviously, if they wanted a bottle of booze and they had something you wanted, you can trade. But in some cases, you can actually use some of this stuff to clean wounds, believe it or not. I wouldn't say all of it is worthy of cleaning a wound, but you get my point. Store it for trading, or store it for, sedation. If you need to sedate somebody a little bit, medical emergency and whatnot. Definitely yes. Now, as far as wines, none of this grocery store wine is probably going to do good for long-term food storage. There are some good quality wines that you can store on their sides so the cork stays moist, and you can pretty much store them forever. I mean, some of the wines, that is, but not a lot of the stuff in the grocery store is going to be a no-go for aging wine, which is storing wine. Vodka is one of those things that you can use for cleaning a wound. As long as it's not a flavored vodka or something, it's just a basic clear vodka, definitely can clean a wound with it if you had to. Some of these wines, like the Petite Syrahs and whatnot, and the Merlots, depending on, what they are, yeah, you can definitely do a long-term storage on them. Make sure they're always tilted on their side so the cork stays wet. If the cork dries out, air gets in, then the wine turns to vinegar. It all depends on the estate that the wines are produced. Whether they'll, how the quality, how the wine is. Whether it will yield to a long-term storage. And obviously with wine, you have to have it I think it's what, somebody can correct me on this, somewhere in the area of 67 degrees constant. Who has that? Unless you have a wine refrigerator or a cellar. Definitely no need to store bread if you have your flour storage. Flour, yeast, salt. You wouldn't need any of this garbage. Now this is the end of the video about long-term food storage ideas while you're at the grocery store. Obviously there's a hell of a lot more than at the grocery store than you would, I mean, what I'm trying to say is you can do a lot better than a grocery store, but while you're shopping, these are just some of the ideas, some of the things that you can be thinking about while you're loading up the cart. Now obviously there's stuff at Costco that I would recommend over this stuff. Home Depot, you know, believe it or not, in Lowe's, you get some of your hardware stuff and whatnot, shelving units and whatnot. But definitely, when you go up and down the aisles, consider what you normally use in your everyday lives and purchase a couple extra cans or bottles of it every day. You know, there's some stuff that you can definitely use. Always think of your hygiene, bars of soap and toothpaste. Definitely lots of toothpaste. This stuff don't go bad. I use the close-up, by the way. But this stuff don't go bad. Just get it. If you're worried about it going bad, then throw it in a freaking seal mail bag. You know, take it out of the box and you throw a couple of them into a seal mail bag and vacuum it. I don't think you really need to go that route. But one thing I wanted to cover that I forgot was paper towels, and lots of them, as well as toilet paper. That's why I recommend going to Costco. Get yourself, it would not be difficult to get yourself a year or two worth of toilet paper. It really would not be difficult at all, especially if you go to Costco. It's cheap there. I think you can probably get almost a year's worth for maybe, I don't know, maybe $80, depending on how many people are in your family, obviously. Now, if you got a family of 6, well, it might take a little bit more than $80, but don't forget your toilet paper, and keep it away when you store it. Keep it out of reach of rodents and whatnot. Okay, so this is something that you really need. And don't forget, under the bed, you can do a lot of storage underneath those beds, believe it or not. I didn't mention anything about treats, but obviously you can't buy this type of stuff for long-term food storage. But don't forget about popcorn kernels now. Those things will last forever. Now, while I wouldn't get this stuff here, I would definitely get it at Costco or Walmart, Costco or Sam's Club, because of the volume versus price. But I would definitely get some of this stuff. If those of you who might have to resort to powdered milk, this will make it go down a hell of a lot easier. Okay? Definitely consider this. Get it at Costco. You can get, I think, 5 pounds for something like $6. Here they want $6 for some little piece of nothing here. Peanut butter does not do good. However, the powdered peanut butter, where you just add water, fares a little bit better. But I've had this stuff go rancid in my shelving units, in storage I should say. I've had it go bad. So definitely reconsider the peanut butter option and get maybe powdered peanut butter like this. But again, this is in a bag with air. You see that? I would transfer this to a seal meal bag of some type. And also, you can get better quantity for price at a Sam's Club or a Costco. So definitely, I mean, if you're here in the store and you want to spend the extra, what does it cost, $5, then go for it. So there you have it. Now, this was not meant to be a comprehensive list of everything you should be prepping. This was merely some ideas walking around a supermarket for long-term food storage. So just to summarize, prep, store what you normally use. Try to keep away from anything that has saucy packets in there. Look at the packets themselves. Do they have a lot of air in them? If they have a lot of air inside some of those, like those beef jerkies, you're gonna have to remove the beef jerky and put them in like a seal meal bag and vacuum it up, that sort of thing. But again, this is not a comprehensive list. This is just an idea of what would work for long term. Folks, you have a great day, and I hope to make more videos like this now that I got this little video camera here. Take care.